Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to the Man United Agenda. Football for us is on a bit of a hiatus as we don't play until this day next week. So the preview will be sometime next weekend. But today, myself, Yaba, Mr. B, and Rio are going to talk about Bruno, the Portuguese magician that has been creating, that has been diving, bobbing, and weaving throughout the pitch. But before I do get into that, Tony, talk to us when you actually win one of the cups. But anyway.
You see the draw that Arsenal got?
They're getting served up on a platter, on a silver spoon for the title and the FA Cup. Let's see what they do with that.
Who did they get?
They got I think some low division team. I can't remember who it is, but
what, lower than Man City's, yeah?
Maybe Stoke Grimsby.
Man City got Newcastle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Let's have a quick wee look-see here, because I actually got it a second ago. So,
by the way, do you want to say, look, Tony is part of the family and the Man United agenda, regardless of him being an Arsenal fan. I want to wish him a happy birthday. It was his birthday the other day. So take it back, Tony. And we respect you. We love you. I hope you had a great day.
I fair play, man. Brenda look good for 63 still, man. Fair play to him.
Yeah. That FA Cup draw is very one-sided apart from City Newcastle. Chelsea, Wrexham, Liverpool, Wolves, Arsenal, Mansfield, Norwich, Leeds, City, Newcastle, Sunderland, Bristol, and Southampton versus Fulham. But as I've said, happy birthday, Tony, and enjoy your 70th party, as they say. But, gentlemen, let's not mess about. Rio brought this story to us earlier on in the day, and I'm just going to show a slightly expanded version of this on the screen. We're going to actually focus on the man in the middle, Mr. Bruno. But he is one of 7 players that would be out of contract in 2027. And this summer, they're predicting 2 of them to head for the hills. But the story that's been brought out is that there's a little thing called the World Cup on during the summer. And Bruno does not want to make a decision on his future until after the World Cup. If you're Manchester United Football Club, if you're the ones that are kind of identifying the order of your transfers, how much of a problem does that create in terms of prioritizing your activities, Rio?
Massive, like huge. Like, I know we've been talking for ages about DMs and getting a hold in mid, etc., etc. But if Bruno leaves, I would scrap that whole plan and replace him immediately. And replacing him is hard. This might be going a bit extreme, but I would rather spend the whole summer trying to get Bruno to stay and sign no one than to let him go. That's how important I think is. I think that's how much of a loss that would be. It would be like Harry Kane when he left Tottenham. Like, it would be a big gap. And I think it's really, really hard to replace.
When Harry Kane left Tottenham, they won the Europa League.
Yeah, but that's not the point.
Yeah, but they're a worse team, though. They're a worse team.
Yeah. But just can we just emphasize how much of a loss it would be if Bruno left? Because the question is, can he be replaced? And it's not even a question. He can't. There's no one in world football right now who can do what Bruno does and have that same passion for Man United Football Club. Unless there's a boy born in Manchester, who's got talent and skill and, loves the football club as well, it would come in and do what Bruno does. I don't think there's anyone out there, Cole Palmer, but yeah, there's not many people out there who can do that job. He's a fantastic player.
When I think of comparisons, I always have to think of 2 people to cover him, if that makes sense, to fill his boots. So the defensive aspect, because he can defend in aspects, but he's not great at it. But when I think of defenders that can do the role, then they haven't got the attacking output as similar to Bruno. And then similar, if someone's got the attacking output of Bruno, they can't do the rest what he has.
But talk to me about.
I just think we look for a number 10. If that's the case, we look for a now and out number 10. I know, Rio, you're saying we can't replace him. Man City didn't replace De Bruyne. They just tried to fill the gaps. Whoever we get, the defensive side of Bruno's work, I'm not worried about. It's the offensive output, and I agree for his position, his numbers are ridiculous. So it would be trying to replace the irreplaceable in his position. I don't know what it's going to cost, and then even then, would we have expected Bruno to hit the numbers that he did when he came in for us? So, and nobody's hit them for us before. And boy, we might be struggling for somebody to hit them with the same regularity that he's hitting now. I wouldn't go as far as you and scrap the whole transfer window, Rio, in regards to getting him on board, but he's got a year left after this season, right? Is that right? Okay, so they really need to try to time down now. My issue with nobody gets a contract on less money in regards to he's still performing on top of his game. He's already on whatever he's on at the moment. If we qualify for Champions League, he's one of those players on the contract where he gets a 25% pay increase. So, and that's the same with Maguire. So the figures that we're talking about, if we qualify for the Champions League, yeah, we're in the competition, so we can afford to pay them. But then Bruno's going to be looking at nearly 400 grand.
Well, let him. I say let him. If there's any player to deserve it and warrant it, it's him. I'm deadly serious. I'm being serious. I've been poor this season, and I've dropped the ball, and I've been kind of not giving him the praise that he deserves. Over the last couple of weeks, it's reminding me what a player is. Because he's gone back into that 10. We were blinded. He's gone back into the 10, and we're seeing what he can do.
But
I'll blame a certain person for that.
I think obviously, we're obviously seeing the best of Bruno since he got put back into his proper position. But let's look at that midfield as a whole, and we're going to talk about an alleged clause in Bruno's contract shortly as well. But Casemiro leaving the club in the summer. Toby Collier is another one of the players that's out of contract in 2027. Bruno Fernandes out of contract in 2027, possible release clause. Mason Mount injury prone, and while a useful player when he's fit, it's the if he's fit is the problem. So we're looking at basically Kobe Mainoo and a bunch of kids being our remaining midfielders. So obviously this is something that Manchester United Football Club are going to have to plan kind of meticulously, kind of in case Bruno break glass on one side, and also try and replace Casemiro, who has been absolutely fantastic in the six this season. So you're talking about two gargantuan pillar heads of your central midfield. But I'm going to come to you with that release clause. Whether it's true or not, we don't know. Obviously, we are not privy to the contract of Mr. Bruno Fernandes. But there is believed to be a clause in his contract that if it comes in by a certain date, that he can leave the club for 50-odd million or whatever it was. Is that significant, Rio? And Yaba and Mr. B?
It's out there. It's out there. At the same time, if he doesn't want to leave, he doesn't need to go. Like, the bid can be accepted, but if he doesn't want to go, then it means nothing ultimately. So I don't think it will come to that. You know how and I know, Rebel, you're a big advocate for this, and in terms of getting the money worth for the player, I don't think he would have it in him to do that. I think he would make sure that it went through due diligence and a good process happened where we wouldn't be kind of done short. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong, but I don't think he'd let us be done dirty like that.
thing is, Bruno Fernandes is such a professional. He loves the club. He's the captain. He came there with good stock. Like slowly, stock now is like 10 times as much as it was when he first arrived at the club for his performances and what he's done. Obviously, he's an international player, played for Portugal as well. He's a world-class performer, standard. So if his legacy at Man United will be, he didn't win anything and he'd get forgotten about. I think it's important for him as a captain and with the desire that he shows to football club. And if the football club and the fans are on side and behind him, we want to see him lift a trophy, right? And a major trophy at that. And I think we're on the cusp of really sort of making steps towards that. And we want to do it with him on board. It's a bit like, reminds me of kind of like Brian Robson. Brian Robson was Captain Marvel during the 80s at Man United. And we only won a couple FA Cups. We didn't win the major trophy. It's only when he was just going out as we started to transition into a proper team. And then he got to lift a trophy with Steve Bruce as captain. And then he had to retire. You know, I want to see the same for Bruno Fernandes. I want him to go out and go out not as a loser, winning nothing. You're such a great player at Man United. You're one of the best players that we've ever had at our football club. You need to go out winning a major trophy. So hang around, Bruno. If you listen to this, I'm reaching out to you, my brother. I'm saying to you, hang around because we love you as a player. We value you. Well, you know I do on the Man United agenda. I don't know about these other guys on the panel, but you know that Yabba Forbes, value you. Please stay because you will get a major trophy, which you deserve, so you can be a proper legend at a club rather than going to Saudi or one of these other places and fizzle out your career. Stay.
All right.
Pastor Yabba.
Can I just say something? I kind of half agree with Steph at the moment. Why can't he just stay? He wants to say after the World Cup, our league position wouldn't have changed between this where we finish and the start of next season with the World Cup in between. So even if he gives it till the end of the season and then says he's going to stay, I don't have a problem with that. But this waiting up until after the World Cup, why? It leaves us in limbo. He's our captain.
Maybe because of the owners. Don't forget they wanted to push him out recently.
Yeah, but let's be honest. The owners aren't stupid. To replace Bruno is going to cost more than it's going to cost. They are stupid. That's a lie.
They are.
To replace Bruno is going to cost more than more than the money we sold him for. If they're going to sell him for 56 million euros, or whatever we buy is going to cost more than that. You know, sometimes you see as we're trying to save money. I don't see this as I think this is more of a making sure you got the best that you can get. I'm not really happy with the fact that he wants to give us a decision after the World Cup. I just think that sets it up. If he has a good World Cup, then what are we in? You know, are we then stressing that Real Madrid or Barcelona are going to come for him with the money that we want, and then we're stuck again? I would rather.
In fairness, though, every player does say that. You know, you would not find another player that says, "Oh, I'll sort it out before the World Cup." I think it's just they're just programmed to say we'll wait until the World Cup. I don't know why.
Is that I mean, he's already at our club. He's already our captain. So that's the part that I'm thinking. Because then we still don't know. We're thinking, oh, he's gonna love the club, blah blah blah. He might say, you know, I've had enough. I've had enough of all of the headache. I've had enough of all of. Or to be fair, he ain't getting no bull. He's only getting bullshit under Ruben. To be fair, you know what I mean. He's not getting it now. He's playing in his position, but it's the money, man.
Is there a chance that? Because I see what Yabba's saying in terms of wanting to stay to win trophies, but what if he gets us back into the Champions League? Could he?
We're going to be in the Champions League.
But could he potentially see that as? I've done all I can. That's the Holy Grail. Thank you. And use that as like leaving.
How's that the Holy Grail? No, because it's not. It's a level below what we want. Champions League isn't league.
He's 31 now, isn't he? He's 31. So it's like, and he's been at the club for what, 7 years? It'll be 7 years. So
it'll be 7 years, yeah.
So I don't know. There's a part of me that
you think he's run his course.
I just think he might want to move on to a different challenge and use that as a big W. I don't know.
I also think you have to consider He wants to look. He puts so much into the club.
But we're still in a project. We're still in a project.
Yeah, exactly. And he works so hard as a captain. He takes a lot of pride in it. He loves the club. He loves the club, but he wants to feel loved, just not by the fans, but by the board and everyone. That's why he can say something like, "Hold on, I'm not going to say, yeah, please, sir, give me some more." You know, like Oliver Twist. You know, he's got some bargain chips here. That's why he can say, "Look, I'm a professional. I need to focus on the World Cup as well, and then we can have a discussion after that." And that way, he can bring more to the table because he has a fantastic World Cup. Imagine Portugal win the World Cup and CR7's got his World Cup to match with Messi and Bruno's, delivering the assists and all that kind of thing, playing the tournament because he is one of the best players in the world, mind you. And Portugal, when you look at their team, it's about time they won a proper tournament. I know they won the Euros, but they need to win the World Cup. They deserve it. Spain's done it. Why can't Portugal do it? So I just feel that if Bruno does that, then he will be in a better position come after the World Cup to say, "Hey guys, it's me." Like the Fonz, walking with the Fonz. That's how we do. He would walk in like Fonz walked in the Happy Days with the leather jacket, say, "Hey," to the board, and they would have to accept it.
Allow me to play devil's advocate for a moment. I'm going to remind you of the policy that Ineos seem to be trying to undertake to have everybody below $250,000 per week. Bruno would not be in compliance with that so-called philosophy if that is their upper limit. Number two, this is the last summer where we could potentially get a transfer fee for Bruno Fernandes. If he doesn't wish to sign a new contract, but wishes to stay, he leaves for free the following summer. So there is that conundrum in it. And obviously, he beat a 32-year-old midfielder by the time summer 2027 rolls around. And once again, going back to the earlier point, it puts pressure on us in terms of identifying targets because a World Cup transfer window is complex in its nature without having is a player staying conundrum hanging over your head. We're Manchester United Football Club, not Sunderland, not Bournemouth, not one of these small clubs that gets their clubs pilfered every single year by the bigger fish in the Premier League. So I think as a club, there's probably a lot of reasons why you could say Bruno will not be signing a new contract. Would you think that would be something that Ineos and them across the water would be considering?
Yeah. I think he goes. I don't want him to go. I 100% don't want him to go. But Rebel, you hit the nail on the head. There's too many factors. Take passion and emotion out of it. There's too many factors on the books that make sense in regards to business. And ultimately, they're Ineos, they're the Glazers, and they are fickle. And they'll look at that rather than, he's producing this on the pitch. They probably don't even know how good he is as a 10. The fact that he was allowed to play as a number 8 for so long, they probably don't know what's happened. They for all they know, they think Amarim's still in charge. So honestly, they just think about the money. They think about the numbers. They think about the figures, and they'll see that as an opportunity as, he's going to leave for nothing, ultimately. Similar to Kevin De Bruyne, he left with nothing, but he left on a massive, massive, massive high.
I'm sorry. I've just seen. So sometimes this guy just jumps in to wind people up, Get rid, he's a big part of the problem at the club. But you wanted to keep Fred.
Solo.
Yeah. Can I just actually hit a few comments because it's actually quite opportunistic that Solo's turned up because I've been saying this for a long time. We deserve better. Sorry, guys, for me, I'm no longer a player. See, if he wants to go, then bugger him. I am Manchester United FC. Either stay and fight or go. We move on. So
I'll jump on that. I'll jump on that quickly. I agree. If you want to go. But I don't want to use the word. I don't want to say bugger off, like out the door. I would do it with fair enough. Thank you. You got us back to the CL. Red carpet, leave. Not out the back door.
You know what? Let's just be realistic here. What we're looking at here is a player who's instrumental to our success. All right. And that's what it's all about, results, success. And you don't want to get rid of a player that you cannot replace. I think that's fair. Everyone in the comments and on the panel, we all agree. There's no one in world football that can come in and replace Bruno Fernandes right now. I don't see him out there. Musiala at Bayern Munich's good little player. Cole Palmer's good player. But no, they're not on the level of, for me, for Bruno Fernandes. So we have to consider that. Then we look at what Kevin De Bruyne did. He's gone, left Man City, and they miss him because he's hard to replace. They can't replace him. Now they've got the French boy in, and they've got Phil Foden and all that, but it's not the same. It's not the same. So the same would happen to us. But let me go to Liverpool Football Club. The guy who's the linchpin of their club, who does performs for them, is Mo Salah, and they've decided to keep him on because he's that great a player for them. He's done the business, and now he's also at that age as well. And it was a risky decision, and they've kind of dropped off because they signed him up. He's 30 odd now, and now people are starting to consider maybe we shouldn't have done that because he's getting older. He's not getting any better. So it's a tough decision. It is really tough when you consider those factors there. What happened at Man City and what's happening at Liverpool with their kingpin players as well at that age.
Thanks very much. Yeah, but I'm just going to hit a couple of these very quickly. There's a couple relating to player transfers, and I'm going to get the opinion of the panel on possible replacements for Casemiro and Bruno. But Tony Lee's talking about Odegaard not happening, by the way. Stephanie's telling us about the problems with the ownership and that we're retroactive rather than proactive, which is probably not too far from the truth.
That's for you on Friday, Mr. B, by the way, the Odegaard statement.
Yeah. Tony will be on. I can wind him up. Say we're going to Tiffy's captain.
You've done it before.
Why is Bruno waiting against Stephanie? Solo saying Carrick at the wheels. No problems with that, to be fair. Stephanie's also reminding us about hitting the like button. So please do like, share, and subscribe. It does help the channel a lot. Matthew Bassett is saying hello to us. Chat Sports is saying hello to us. Every year's a project. And Hydro is saying that he's probably waiting for the board. But I'm going to come back to this comment from We Deserve Better. So in lieu of Casemiro, he's telling us Anderson or Tonali. And then we get someone like Yildiz then to be our creative replacement. Does that give you adequate comfort that we've gotten like for like coverage?
You say Yildiz?
He said Yildiz, yeah, from Juve.
Sorry, haven't we got? And don't we have 10s at our club? Do we have to go outside of the club? Cunha, 10, Imbremo 10, Ahmad 10. All right, they're not Bruno's.
We'd need to get a specialist in. No, I'm just laughing at the Yildiz. I would love Yildiz. Yildiz is incredible. He plays for Juve, but he would not come to us. We couldn't afford him. We couldn't afford him. But in terms of Casemiro replacement, that's something we need to look at. Elliot Anderson would fit the mold perfectly. James Garner comes to mind. He's been in sensational form this season. Someone that I'd like to get on board. Fernandes, namesake, again at West Ham. Players like that would be really, really good for us in that midfield.
Who's Fernandes at West Ham? Mateus Fernandes?
Yeah.
No, man.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
And then someone that's very, very similar to the both. So a mixture of the closest person right now I can think of that's similar to Bruno is, ironically, his name's Bruno, and that's Bruno G at Newcastle. But I don't think we could ever get him.
He's not similar to Bruno.
He's not similar to Bruno.
He's the closest.
Well, name. You just named Fernandes at West Ham because they got the same name. Now you name Bruno. Oh, they're close. They got the same name, so they're close. I mean, Rio Ferdinand's a great player. I'm sure you're not a great defender like him, Rio.
I am very good at the centre back. Anyone with that name? No. Now Bruno G, statistically, stats wise, defensively, obviously he puts in more, but attacking output, he's quite. There's a massive drop off. Bruno. That's why I say Bruno is in his own hemisphere. He's his own level, but then Bruno G, in terms of player profile, he's the closest, but it's not even close.
It's interesting because Rebel was going to sort of suggest it, and I think we need to go on to that sometime soon. Talking about who out there, I'm just thinking, who out there can replace Bruno? Who's a similar player to Bruno? But it's not just that; it's the data as well. When you look at the little map what Bruno does, or the little pie chart, what he's good at, what he contributes, are there many players that have the same output contribution on that data as him in world football? If there is, playing in the top league, I want to see him, and then say maybe this guy can be considered.
Maybe out for the Premier League. Maybe out for the Premier League, never.
There are players out there. I mean, you've gone back to an ex-Man United player talking about covering the midfield with James Garner, and I think there are players out there. But I mean, there's some great players in Spanish football. I mean,
this is the issue. This is a good point. This is a very good point, Yaba. So I've automatically said Premier League players, and that's because I've been programmed with this new philosophy of they're only looking for Premier League proven. But correct, there will be players out there. It's whether we start looking outside the box.
Well, I think if you did, I watch a lot of European football, and if there's a player like in Serie A who's got great, if you look at the data, great data output, similar to what Bruno Fernandes has got. You know, his name's Scott McTominay.
Can I just briefly? I'm going to steer us away from James Garner. Sorry, because I think maybe with James Garner, there's a question of the shirt being too big for the player. He has been here before and he hasn't quite made it, so maybe he's found his level at Everton. But this is what AI says is a similar profile, and it's really yes or no to Bruno Fernandes as to whether you'd accept him as his replacement. So the first one is Pedro Gonzalez of Sporting Lisbon. Yes or no? Suitable replacement.
Yeah, but he's played in Portugal. He hasn't been signed by anyone yet, even though he was at Wolves. I think he was at Wolves at one point. But yeah, he was talked about before, doing the bits and bobs, but he's not as dynamic as Bruno. But yeah, he's a good player.
Rio, Morgan Gibbs-White.
I rate him. I like Morgan Gibbs-White. I'm a big fan of his, to be fair.
Isn't he like Cunha?
Nah.
The same profile as Cunha, no?
Oh, it's a unique one actually. He's got a bit of everything about him. You know, you could play in centre mid if you had to. You wouldn't obviously, but he is more of a number 10. And obviously Tottenham wanted him, that failed. So it's using that as probably as a measuring stick isn't probably good. But I like him. He's got something about him. You know, he's got a bit of grit behind him, and he can get a good goal or two. So I don't mind it. And he's the captain of Nottingham Forest. So would
he be cheap when Forest get relegated?
Yes. Oh, there'll be a clause. Because the fact that he stayed, there'll be some weird clause that he's agreed to stay longer.
60 mil. So the same price that Bruno goes for, we could get Gibbs-White in for. Are you taking it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You're burning him, man. You mentioned Morgan Rogers. He's better than Gibbs-White, in my opinion.
You need to add a 0 to that. Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, Villa won't do that deal cheap. I mean, the thing is, Villa didn't want to sell who's the other Ramsey last summer, and they were forced to sell him. If they don't get Champions League, they're going to have to make a sacrifice somewhere. But I don't see how we're in front running for somebody like him. To be fair,
Hydro. Just to point out, Hydro, he's in the last year of his contract. That's why we're talking about that price. Mr. B, Stiller, obviously somebody that Cullum is completely in love with.
Not Ben.
I don't know nothing about him. This is Colm's guy. Colm is the guy who
he's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's not like Bruno though. He's definitely not like Bruno. That's why.
Right. So does he play as a 10? Does he play deeper?
He's deeper. He's an 8.
So you'd have to wonder then, is AI giving us Bruno's Amrin position rather than Bruno's
this is it now.
Position?
This is Bruno. He devised the opinion because he can play anywhere. This is what's happened.
No, but he can't play anywhere. He can only play as a 10. We've seen him as an 8 and he was rubbish.
He was rubbish as an 8 in a back 3 system. I reckon it'd be different if he played in a 3 system. I mean,
he wouldn't sit there though, would he? He wouldn't have the discipline to sit there. That was our big problem, wasn't it? That he didn't have the discipline. He actually played it as a deep line 10.
But see, like this, if Bruno played where Kobe Mine is playing right now, would he struggle? I don't think he would struggle.
No, but he wouldn't keep the ball tidy. Like he'll still be trying to pass the ball and be wasting the ball from where he is.
What I've been wanting. Remember, I've said that's what I've wanted Minu to do, and I keep saying he's shy. It will happen, But I don't think Bruno was
Mainly
struggle.
doesn't waste the football. Mainly doesn't waste the football. He's not making that pass if he doesn't think it's going to get there. Bruno will hit it regardless.
Mm.
I'm going to keep us on track because I think there's a debate between Rio and Mr. B brewing, and I wouldn't mind seeing them put on the gloves and have Yaba as special guest referee. But I'm going to take the last one because Chat Sports has mentioned Sanchez as a good shout from Atletico del Bilbao. There's one problem and one problem only that I see with that. They can't buy a replacement. So I think that's where that gets snookered, to be honest with you.
I don't understand how that's happened. How war clubs, how they've got a transfer ban. It's mad.
Who's got a transfer ban?
Athletic Bilbao or Athletic Club. You can't say Bilbao to them. They'll go mad.
Oh yeah, that's true. Just a quick one then. There's AI saying that the internal ones are Kobe Manu, who will not be playing in the Bruno role because he's well and truly established himself in the other role that he's in at the moment, so he needs to stay exactly where he is. And Mason Mount, who unfortunately has those injury issues, and if he didn't...
Sorry, I heard something about Mason Mount. We selling him at the end of the season?
That's the rumor. Because of the injuries.
Are you taking him? Are you selling him? You keeping him?
For me personally, the glassness of his availability is a problem.
Yeah, it keeps breaking my heart.
Which is a shame. I'm just going to then hit those two names very quickly, just to kind of wrap up. Cole Palmer and Fermin Lopez. Obviously, Barcelona ain't going to deal us nada, but again, obviously Cole, Premier League proven, knows exactly what's going on. Cost a fortune, would come with a very high wage. Do you reckon Fermin Lopez, who is not Premier League proven, would command a similar type wage?
Can we go to our Spanish correspondent, and that'd be Rio on that one?
He's had a breakthrough season. You know, I think I could be wrong with this. I think he's got the most assists in the Champions League at the moment. He's not a commanding player though at all. He's very, again, AI is a bit broken here. I wouldn't compare him to Bruno, but he's quality. He's quality. He's not leaving Barca though.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to flick through these very quickly. That's where AI reckons the similarities are, but that's AI for what it's worth, ladies and gentlemen.
It's making me sad talking about him gone. Saying it out loud.
So every player leaves, Rio. Every player leaves.
I'm going to go around the houses, and I'm going to say, deal or no deal, 60 million comes in before the World Cup. Are you taking it? Yaba.
No way, Jose.
Mr. B.
Nope.
Rio.
No deal.
Rebel.
If he's signing a contract, absolutely no deal.
Yes or no?
1 year left in his contract. If I'm putting my business hat on, I'm saying take the money. Yes. If I'm talking about my football, Manchester,
no. Yes,
I'm giving you an answer. Business-wise, my business hat says take your money. My Manchester United supporting, wanting to take a go at the Premier League next season says absolutely bloody not. You keep your creative player on the pitch. But it is going to be one that we'll have to keep an eye on. We will be back over the course of the week. I believe We Deserve Better is going to make his triumphant return to the panel with Yaba Tui on Wednesday night. Yaba is going to curate, direct, set up, and do everything for Wednesday's show. I believe he's going to take the bull by the horns and absolutely do everything, including thumbnails. So fair play to you, Yaba, on that one.
I've got my director's chair already set up, lights, camera, action, guys. If you want a good production, then tune in on Wednesday because that's what Yabba Forbes is going to deliver. I'm talking about myself in the third person now. That's not cool.
Obviously, Rio, we'll be seeing you towards the Thursday, Friday night situation again. So we're looking forward to your next visit to the Man United agenda, and we'll be getting ever closer to actually being able to talk about Manchester United versus Everton, which is, of course,
Monday
week. Yeah, so it's a long, long time. And the host of Friday Night, who's currently choking to death, Mr. B, will be on with all his usual platter of Premier League. I think he's still choking by the fact that
he's a legend.
Wanted Scott McTominay back.
What?
And on that bombshell, Yabba has killed Mr. B.
He's doing an Arsenal at the end of the season, choking.
Glory, glory.